Right, so I'm here with one of the biggest reggae artists, Mr. Richie Davis. How are you doing?
I'm fine today, Kadisha. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. All right, so first of all, I want to find out, at what age did you start out in the music business?
Roughly 9 years old. 9 years old.
9?
Yeah. Sprouted up from the church vibes, Christianity. Parents said, you know, we can't have you in here every Sunday. Go to church. So it was from church.
Okay, so what artists influenced you to take on music and also get into the reggae business itself?
Dennis Brown. As growing up, Dennis Brown was not much. Well, he was great. Yeah, be older than me, but you know, as a youth, listening to a youth man sing, Dennis Brown was one of them. Barry White on the soul scene, and a lot of Desmond Dekker. Even though Desmond Dekker didn't really appeal to me as inspired me in the industry as a great reggae influence. It was more Dennis Brown and Barry White. Barry White was because of the tone of his voice. That was what really attracted me.
Yeah, we have to big up Dennis Brown, definitely. So before you went solo, you formed a group by the name of Black Diamond. Tell us about that group and what actually happened with the group.
Black Diamonds were there before me. Black Diamonds were my friends from school, and as growing up, you know, I used to go to this club called Trojan. They used to race in Trojan. Apparently these guys, I grew up with them, and I went to Trojan. I heard them playing music. I enjoyed the whole situation, and they said, "Richie, you're a musician. Come in." So I took part. I went in first as a rhythm guitarist because I play a guitar. So I went in as a guitarist, and then they realized that I can sing also. So they said, "Come in." So I was part of that band, Black Diamonds.
Okay, so in Black Diamond, is that where you met Matthew and Fluxy, or?
No, Matthew and Fluxy came across from school, again, which is secondary school. Black Diamonds was from junior school, and Matthew and Fluxy was from secondary school. Those guys, they taught me a lot.
So what's your relationship with Matthew and Fluxy now?
Oh, Regents, very tight. Matthew and Fluxy, we could say they're my brothers, big brothers, from a different mother.
Okay. All right, so you started off singing on sound systems such as Unity and Quadraphonic. At what point did you realize that you wanted to make records instead of just singing on sound systems?
Well, it's just being in the dance hall alone, singing in front of thousands. That feeling, you know, when you sing the first two notes and you hear, that alone makes you want to do something to please them so that they can buy so you can live. First thing you think about is superstar. I've had the crowd rocking. So that was very inspiring.
So that's why you just thought, you know what, I want a record out now. I want to make music and put it on record.
Yeah, I didn't really push the producers to have me do that, though. They approached me. The first sound I really sang on was Quadraphonic. First tune I done was a tune called Icky, which was produced by Tony Anderson. Quadraphonic up to this day, from them days as a youth, from 17, is still running, and these guys are still around. However, the first tune that I actually made was stemmed from Quadraphonic. It's a tune called Icky O Lover. We call that tune there, and that's what used to rock the dance hall in Quadraphonic sound itself.
Okay, so one of the people that actually played a major part in your career is it Patrick Donegan? Like, what was the relationship between you two, and how did you meet?
Okay, after working with Quadraphonic sound system, I got to understand that a lot of producers approached me. I was working with General Lee, which is from High Power Music, which approached me one day, which is the cousin of the first person that put out my first tune. Right. He brought me across and said, well, I want you to sing on another rhythm, which came from Jamaica. Techniques label. That track was called How I Feel For You. He actually took me into Patrick's studio one day to voice that tune. Yeah. And as Patrick being there, Patrick says, I like this guy's voice. There's something about him. So from that moment onward, it was like a tug of war thing. Everybody wanted a piece of Richie Davis, a piece of Richie's voice. Patrick, I worked with Patrick for about a good 6-7 months thereafter, and it was successful. Wow. Absolutely successful. Wow. So I stayed there for a few years. Yeah, stayed there for a few years and done my own thing. It was good.
So at that point of working with Patrick Donegan, you started working with artists such as Don Ricardo, Mikey General, Sugar Minor and Lloyd Brown. What was it like working with these artists?
Well, Lloyd Brown and I used to sing on the sound system before all of that.
What sound system?
Jamarcus, then Quadraphonic. And occasionally Lloyd would come to Unity and sing on Unity. But not only was it just me and Lloyd Brown, it was me, Lloyd Brown and Paul James, aka Renault James. You know, we used to sing in a 3-piece harmony like Mighty Diamonds. And we used to seriously tear down dancehall. You know, and that's something that I really mean seriously. We used to tear down dancehall. We didn't practice. We just had our own little vibes where we used to just do little things and we used to just juggle. So Richie Davis, Lloyd Brown, Renat James, Richard Davis. Yeah, it was nice vibes, really sweet vibes.
But in your career, you've worked with so many artists. I mean, is there any artist in particular that you really enjoy? I know you don't want to name one, but I mean, is there one artist that you just enjoy working with, or is there an artist that you love and that you wish you worked with?
I only love woman artists.
Like?
However, what did we call it?
We want some names. Don't we?
Artists that I enjoy working with, in what sense? You mean like building a tune together, singing?
Yeah, basically, any artist that because you do producing, you sing. Is there anyone that you actually just love working with? Is there any artist that you've worked with in your career that you've always enjoyed working with?
Sugar Minor is one of them. Okay. Mighty Diamonds. I like to work with Mighty Diamonds. Half Pint. I've done a few bits and pieces of Half Pint. Nitty Kochi, Jamaica. Glenn Ricks. I haven't seen Glenn Ricks for years. And Quenchade. Those guys I really enjoy working with, especially when it comes to writing. Because these guys are very energetic. Apart from that, in the England side of things, there ain't many. I prefer to work with female artists, i.e. Frederica Tibbs, Beverly Notes, and maybe probably one and two others that I haven't mentioned, who I haven't worked with as yet. Yeah, as yet, which I have worked with, but I haven't really done anything of my own productions with. Right. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about King Jammies, because I know they've played a part in your career as well. What is your relationship with them to date?
King Jammies pulled me out from Unity Sound. Back in those days, King Jammies and Unity used to be like brother and sister thing. You know, Jammies England, Unity England, Jammies Jamaica. When Unity used to play, Unity used to have all the Jammies specials, all the artists, Admiral Bailey and so forth. When Jammies used to come over, he used to stop and listen to when Unity played, and he heard me. And one day he said, when you come to Jamaica, Richie, you come to me. And obviously one day I went to Jamaica, And Jammies, he actually drove all the way to my house in Stony Hill, picked me up, he picked myself up and he picked Yellow Man up, because Yellow Man just lives a couple of doors away from where I live, and took us to Jammies, and that was it. I went there, I didn't even have to write lyrics, it was just like a vibes, everything just, being in Jammies studio is just like, the lyrics is just, it's just there. It's a great connection, yeah.
So tell me, as an artist, I know artists don't like to compare themselves to anyone, but who would you say your style is similar to?
Richie Davis.
Really?
I swear down. As these young people say, swear down. Look, listen, all right then. Growing up, I'll be honest with you, growing up as a youth man, listening to so much artists, I used to say, well, this artist is good, that artist is good, this artist is good. I didn't used to like follow, but you know, I used to like tenor, so the chip boom day, that kind of swing, that off key kind of weirdness. So I would try to sing something in a dancehall style using that style. Right. However, when it comes to voicing, big voice, maintaining, Frankie Paul was one of my idols back then. But then, as again I say, it was definitely Barry White. Even though Barry White didn't sing reggae, but just to listen to the style itself. So majority of my tunes, what you hear nowadays, it would sound, not even sound like it's still Richie Davis, but it would have the essence of the great Barry White.
So that's who you know?
Yeah. Barry White. I mean,
yeah.
To be quite frank, the only artist I really think that has that flavour is Mikey Spice. Mm-hmm. But me personally, I feel that to deliver the realness, I think I have it. Mm-hmm. The Barry White style. Even though Richie's Richie, I'm Richie. I'm Richie. I'm just Richie.
Okay, so I'm going to put you in a spot now. Even though we're in Dilly Stingray's big house studio, you've worked with many producers. So, like, who has been your favourite producers to work with to date?
Matthew and Floxy and Stingray. Okay. And Jammies, the three.
Jammies, the three.
Yeah.
Oh, the three of them. Okay. Right.
And that's only shared because they have patience, they have time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they know what they're doing. You know, they got good ears, good sense of music. Where I would say, well, I don't feel that. You know, some producers are like, I feel it, leave it. Even though the first cut is the deepest, these guys, they take time out and they understand the fullness of everything. Right. Yeah.
So we're currently in Stingray Records, one of the biggest studios in the UK, right?
Absolutely.
And the music travels worldwide. Yeah, definitely. You've recorded hits such as My God Is Real and Key to the City. Is there any new material coming out of Stingray Records?
I didn't personally record those hits. I didn't sing those tunes. I took part in the making of them, but I didn't sing them.
You didn't sing them.
That's something that they need to speak to Dilly about.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Dilly. Wait. So basically, you write your own songs as well. Have you wrote any songs for any other artists?
Yeah. I wrote songs for Frederica Tibbs, Peter Spence, a few others. There's quite a few. My catalogue is a bit ridiculous. I can't even remember half of what I've done, which I do have them archived, but it's a bit ridiculous.
So what inspires you to write songs?
Just me, Richie. Music.
Oh, well, that's not enough, is it? That's not enough. We want to know what inspires you. How do you come up with concepts? Is it like pain? Is it sorrow? Is it love?
Music's born in me. I write about anything and I sing about anything. There's not many artists in England that can sing dance or lovers or sing just even a soft tune. I do all of them. I can, any producer give me a rhythm, write something, Richie, I'd write it. You know, it's just a gift from God. It's even like instruments. I mean, I've never been taught to play a bass guitar or play drums or any of the sort, but I can do it.
How many instruments can you play?
Roughly about 10.
Wow, amazing. 10 instruments. That's a real musician, actually. So tell me now, like, your view on the reggae dancehall industry. How do you think it's changed? Because you've been in the industry for so long. How do you think it's changed now? Is it changed when you first started out, or is it, you know, the same?
Reggae dancehall is changed dramatically. I can say for one, reggae dancehall is extremely faster than how it used to be before. Even though you can have slow dancehall, but it's just extremely faster.
But how do you feel about like the topics that certain dancehall artists are singing about? How do you think? Do you think it's good? Like, it's a lot of artists say, you know, it's got a bit too, you know, too much for the kids, and you know, the content, such as people like Vibes Cartel, etc. Do you feel like the industry's just changed? It's not saying any positive messages, or do you feel it's just music?
Different generation, different style. I'm not going to say that back then when we were listening to dancehall, it wasn't any great, because we had Shabba. And even before Shabba, we had General Echo that used to do Slackness. The difference between General Echo those days and what's happening now is that when General Echo used to DJ Slackness, he would do it in a jokified way. So you'd have to use the initiative to hear what he's talking about. Nowadays, they're just saying it blatantly, and they're just swearing and doing all sorts of stuff on the tune. I mean, would I say it's healthy for my kids? No, I don't think so. It's not teaching my kids nothing. It's just teaching my kids slackness. Right. Even though they say slackness sells, it's not all about the money. I mean, a bit of roots and culture is sweet. You know, to know your culture instead of talking about underneath a woman and what you want to do to her. That's very sacred. That's something that you keep inside your house with you and your woman.
See, that is so true. That is so true. So do you have any shows coming up, or?
I have something coming up, but it's very small. In March, for a few friends of mine. I didn't want to do it really because I didn't plan to launch myself yet. I do have an album coming out, which I have an album launch working on to do with the album. Which should have been sorted out about a good 6 months ago. Right. But obviously because of time, and time is the master.
And you also just came back from New York as well.
That's right. So I have to pace myself and get the whole situation and the whole thing right.
Okay, so is there any big ups or shout outs that Richie Davis wants to make?
Wow. First of all, I'd like to big up the Almighty. Without him, nothing is great or possible. Also, I'd like to big up my family and my loved ones, you know, my children, all my friends in the music industry, all the people I'm working with now, Mafia Fluxy, Stingray Records, who, you know, the two parties I don't think I'd ever depart from. My friends back home in Jamaica, Luciano, Mikey General, Nitty Kochi, Quenchade, Glenn Ricks, God bless you, Sugar Minor. If he was here, you know, you'd probably would be umphing the whole of this. Get guys, that God bless your soul also, and all my friends around the world. Peter Gale in New York, big up his status. With British Empress, and your King Man, and the rest of you guys, big up his status.
And not forgetting one of those people that actually means so much to you, your mum, that recently passed away. Rest in peace to Mama Davis.
Yeah, Mama and Papa are in a greater place than where we are now, because we're in hell and they're in a nicer place. I give all the thanks to my mum and dad, who taught me everything that I needed to know in the music industry, i.e. my songs and criticisms. Change that tune, Richie. You're singing off key. Change the lyrics on that part, you know. I can't forget my parents.
Okay, so, you know, as an artist and being on the Kadisha show, and big up Red 5599 as well, you know, we want to hear a little bit of a vocal, if you don't mind, you know, just a little bit of something, so I can hear, you know, so we can hear a little exclusive. Don't you agree, Red 5599? Yeah, just a little something.
I'm a member of your army. Nothing can harm me. Walking through the valley of the shadow of the dead. Richie tread through places where the wicked dare not tread. 'Cause I'm a member of your army. Big up red5599.com. And big up Kadisha every time. You don't know. Easy.
That was Richie Davis. We are in a Stingray Records. I'm gonna definitely get an interview now with Dilly, one of the founders of Stingray Records. So keep it locked.